Hidden in the heart of Cornwall, shrouded in mist and mystery, lies a place where the past never truly dies. A place where the echoes of screams, the clinking of chains, and the whispers of the condemned still linger in the air. This is Bodmin Jail. Built in 1779, Bodmin Jail was once a fortress of justice, or perhaps injustice. For over 150 years, it housed some of the most dangerous criminals of its time. But it wasn't just a prison. It was a place of suffering, despair, and death. Over 50 executions took place within these walls. Men and women, guilty and innocent alike, met their end here. Their stories of betrayal, revenge, and tragedy are etched into the very stones of this place, and some say their spirits never left. Today, Bodmin Jail is known as one of the most haunted places in the UK. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported chilling encounters, shadowy figures lurking in the corridors, ghostly whispers in the chapel, and the heart-wrenching cries of a woman who died here long ago. But what is it about Bodmin Jail that keeps these spirits trapped? Is it the weight of their crimes, the pain of their deaths, or something even darker? In this video, we'll dive deep into the dark history of Bodmin Jail. We'll explore its most infamous prisoners, uncover the truth behind its ghostly legends, and even share first-hand accounts of paranormal activity. So, if you're ready to step into the shadows and uncover the secrets of one of the most haunted places on Earth, stay tuned, but beware. Once you enter Bodmin Jail, you may never look at the world the same way again. Bodmin Jail, located in Cornwall, England, is a historic prison that has gained a reputation for being one of the most haunted places in the UK. Built in 1779 during the reign of King George III, the jail was operational for over 150 years before closing in 1927. During its time, it housed thousands of prisoners, including those awaiting execution. The jail's dark history, combined with its austere architecture, has made it a hotspot for paranormal activity and ghost stories. Ghostly legends and paranormal activity, executions and deaths, Bodmin Jail was the site of over 50 executions, and many believe the spirits of those executed still linger. The most famous execution was that of the Bodmin Moor murderers in 1840, who killed a traveler for money. Their ghosts are said to haunt the jail. The shadowy figure. Visitors and staff have reported seeing a shadowy figure in the corridors, particularly near the execution pit. This figure is often described as tall and menacing, disappearing when approached. The crying woman. A ghostly woman has been heard weeping in the jail's chapel. Some believe she was a prisoner who died in despair, while others think she may be connected to the jail's darker history. Unexplained noises. Many have reported hearing footsteps, whispers, and doors slamming when no one is around. These sounds are often attributed to the restless spirits of former inmates. Cold spots and eerie feelings. Visitors frequently describe sudden drops in temperature and an overwhelming sense of being watched, even in empty rooms. Paranormal investigations. Bodmin Jail has become a popular destination for ghost hunters and paranormal investigators. The jail offers overnight ghost tours and investigations, allowing participants to explore its haunted history firsthand. Many claim to have captured EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, ghostly apparitions, and other unexplained phenomena during these events. Modern-day attraction today, Bodmin Jail is not only a historical site, but also a tourist attraction. It has been restored and transformed into a museum, offering guided tours that delve into its history, including its darker aspects. The jail also hosts events, including Halloween-themed experiences, to cater to those interested in the supernatural. Bodmin Jail's history is not just a tale of crime and punishment. It's a story of human suffering, injustice, and the lingering weight of the past. Built during a time when the justice system was harsh and unforgiving, the jail was designed to be a place of deterrence. Its imposing granite walls and cold, damp cells were meant to break the spirits of those who entered. But for many, it became a place where their spirits were trapped forever. Among the thousands of prisoners who passed through Bodmin Jail's gates, some stand out for their notoriety. One such figure was Matthew Weeks, the last man to be publicly hanged in Cornwall in 1844. Weeks was convicted of murdering his lover, Charlotte Diamond, on Bodmin Moor. His execution drew a massive crowd, and his final moments were filled with cries of innocence. To this day, some believe his spirit roams the jail, still protesting his wrongful conviction. Another infamous inmate was Selina Wadge, a young mother executed in 1878 for the murder of her illegitimate son. Her case was particularly tragic, as she was driven to desperation by poverty and societal judgment. Visitors to the jail have reported hearing the faint cries of a child in the cell where she was held, as if her guilt and sorrow have left an indelible mark on the stones. The execution pit at Bodmin Jail is perhaps the most chilling part of its history. Over 50 people met their end here, their lives cut short by the hangman's noose. The pit was designed to be efficient, with a trapdoor that would drop the condemned to their death. But it was also a place of spectacle, where crowds would gather to witness the ultimate punishment. Today, the execution pit is a focal point for paranormal activity. Visitors have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread when standing near it, as if the weight of the lives lost there still hangs in the air. Some have even claimed to see shadowy figures standing on the trapdoor, their faces twisted in agony, as if reliving their final moments. The ghostly legends of Bodmin Jail are as varied as they are terrifying. One of the most persistent tales is that of the hanging judge, a spectral figure said to roam the corridors, his black robes trailing behind him. Some believe he was a real judge who presided over numerous executions, while others think he may be a manifestation of the jail's dark energy. Whatever the case, his presence is often accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature and the sound of heavy footsteps. Another haunting figure is the White Lady, a ghostly woman who has been seen wandering the jail's upper floors. Her identity remains a mystery, but some speculate she may have been a prisoner who died of illness or despair. Her apparition is often accompanied by the scent of lavender, a stark contrast to the grim surroundings. Bodmin Jail has become a magnet for paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers alike. Many who have spent the night within its walls have come away with stories that defy explanation. One investigator reported hearing a voice whisper, "Get out," in the chapel, while another captured an EVP of a man screaming in agony. During a recent ghost tour, a group of visitors claimed to see a full-bodied apparition in the exercise yard. The figure, described as a man in tattered prison garb, appeared to be walking in circles before vanishing into thin air. Others have reported being touched by unseen hands or feeling a sudden rush of cold air, even in the warmest parts of the jail. What is it about Bodmin Jail that keeps these spirits trapped? Some believe it's the sheer weight of the suffering that took place here. The jail was not just a place of punishment, it was a place of dehumanization, where prisoners were stripped of their dignity and left to rot in squalid conditions. The pain and despair they experienced may have left an imprint on the very fabric of the building. Others think the jail's location plays a role. Cornwall has long been associated with ancient ley lines and mystical energy, and Bodmin Jail sits at the intersection of several powerful lines. This convergence of energy could act as a kind of spiritual prison, trapping the souls of those who died within its walls. Today, Bodmin Jail is more than just a historical site. It's a place where the past and present collide. The jail's restoration has preserved its grim beauty, allowing visitors to step back in time and experience its dark history firsthand. But for those who dare to explore its depth, Bodmin Jail offers something more: a chance to confront the unknown. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's no denying the eerie atmosphere that permeates Bodmin Jail. Its stories of betrayal, revenge, and tragedy are a reminder of the darker side of human nature. And for those who listen closely, the whispers of the past may just reveal the secrets of the present. Certainly. Let's continue the horror journey with another chilling tale, this time focusing on a different kind of haunted location, a forgotten asylum. Asylums are notorious for their dark histories, and this one is no exception. Prepare for a story steeped in madness, experimentation, and restless spirits. Hidden deep within an overgrown forest, far from the prying eyes of civilization, lies the crumbling remains of Willowbrook Sanatorium. Once a place of healing, it became a house of horrors, where the line between medicine and madness blurred into something unspeakable. Built in the late 1800s, Willowbrook was initially hailed as a progressive institution for the treatment of mental illness. But by the mid-20th century, it had become a nightmare of neglect, abuse, and unethical experimentation. The asylum closed its doors in 1972 after a series of scandals exposed the atrocities committed within its walls. Patients were subjected to inhumane treatments, including electroshock therapy, lobotomies, and isolation in padded cells. Many never left Willowbrook alive, and their spirits are said to linger, trapped in the place where their suffering began. Willowbrook's descent into darkness began in the 1940s, when funding cuts and overcrowding turned the once respected institution into a breeding ground for cruelty. Doctors, overwhelmed by the sheer number of patients, began experimenting with radical treatments. One such doctor, Dr. Elias Thorne, became infamous for his unorthodox methods. He believed that mental illness could be shocked out of patients, and he conducted countless electroshock therapy sessions without anesthesia. Many patients died under his care, their bodies buried in unmarked graves on the asylum grounds. But Dr. Thorne's experiments didn't stop there. He became obsessed with the idea of erasing mental illness entirely, leading him to perform illegal lobotomies. Using crude tools, he would drill into patients' skulls and sever the connections in their brains, leaving them as hollow shells of their former selves. The screams of his victims are said to echo through the asylum's halls to this day. Willowbrook is now considered one of the most haunted locations in the world. Paranormal investigators and urban explorers who have dared to enter its decaying halls report chilling encounters. The Crying Child. In the children's ward, visitors have reported hearing the faint sobs of a child. Some believe it's the spirit of a young boy who died during one of Dr. Thorne's experiments. His cries are often accompanied by the sound of a music box, though no such object has ever been found. The Shadow Doctor. A dark, shadowy figure has been seen roaming the asylum's corridors, often near the operating theater. Many believe this is the ghost of Dr. Thorne, forever reliving his gruesome work. Those who encounter him describe an overwhelming sense of dread and the smell of antiseptic and decay. The padded cell. One of the most terrifying areas of Willowbrook is the isolation ward, where patients were locked in padded cells for days or even weeks. Visitors have reported hearing muffled screams and the sound of fists pounding against the walls, as if the spirits of the trapped are still trying to escape. The graveyard. Behind the asylum lies a forgotten graveyard, where hundreds of patients were buried in unmarked graves. Strange lights have been seen hovering above the graves at night, and some visitors have reported being pushed or grabbed by unseen hands. The final straw for Willowbrook came in the 1960s, when Dr. Thorne began experimenting with a new treatment he called soul cleansing. Using a combination of drugs and hypnosis, he attempted to purge patients of their mental illnesses by forcing them to relive their darkest memories. The results were catastrophic. Patients became violent, attacking staff and each other. Some claimed to see shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their rooms, while others simply lost their minds entirely. The experiment culminated in a mass breakout, during which dozens of patients escaped into the surrounding forest. Many were never found, and rumors persist that their spirits still wander the woods, lost and confused. The asylum was shut down shortly after, but the damage had been done. Today, Willowbrook Sanatorium is a crumbling ruin, its halls filled with the echoes of its dark past. Urban explorers who venture inside often report feeling as though they're being watched, even in empty rooms. Some have captured chilling evidence of paranormal activity, including ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and unexplained footsteps. One particularly terrifying account comes from a group of investigators who spent the night in the asylum's operating theater. They set up cameras and recording equipment, hoping to capture evidence of Dr. Thorne's ghost. What they found was beyond anything they could have imagined. The cameras captured a shadowy figure moving across the room, while the audio recordings picked up the sound of a man whispering, "You're next." The question of why the spirits of Willowbrook remain trapped within its walls is a haunting one. Some believe it's the sheer intensity of the suffering that took place there. Others think the asylum's remote location and the dark energy of its experiments have created a kind of spiritual prison, preventing the souls of the dead from moving on. Whatever the reason, one thing is certain: Willowbrook Sanatorium is a place where the past refuses to die. Its stories of madness, cruelty, and despair serve as a chilling reminder of the darker side of human history. And for those who dare to explore its ruins, the line between the living and the dead may never be the same.